and then your smile as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that's everything, and just overall beauty as well.
He's really nice to me.
Listen, I've never ever done this before. I've never ever done this before. Yeah, and normally I'm never on camera, but I'm saying this girl is absolutely stunning, gorgeous. I followed her career for years. She would be the type of girl that I would happily take out. It's gonna sound weird, but it's like if she'd be my wife. Let's put it that way. I'm putting it out there right now. If you want someone that's really humble and gorgeous like that, I'm sitting right next to one. So, keeping it locked, yeah? All right?
Do you know what? That's really sweet. That's actually really nice.
No, I'm being genuine when I say it.
I'm so shy. I'm just like, I don't know where to look. What's going on? It's your girl Cleo, and you are locked into Media Spotlight UK. Keep it locked.
Ladies and gentlemen, Media Spotlight UK is here again, and to be quite frank with you, I don't have a better intro than being with the gorgeous, the wonderful, the talented, the reformed Cleo. How are you?
I'm good. That was a really good intro.
Well, I mean, normally I go into all depth of like what you've done in your career and stuff, but literally I'm just seeing it as it is, like right in front of me right now. I'm just seeing it straight through. Like you are talented, you are gorgeous, and I'm just glad that I'm in front of you right now.
Thank you.
It's been so long, it's long overdue and it's needed. So for the benefit of our audience that may not know you,
yeah.
If they don't, they're living under a rock. But tell us who you originally were and who you are now as an artist.
Originally, I was Mz Bratt. I came through from the grime scene. I worked my way up. I was on a TV show on Channel 4. I was signed to Universal, then I was signed to Atlantic. And now I'm signed to Sony, and I'm Cleo, which is me. Mm-hmm. That's my real name, Cleopatra. So I'm just, I'm reborn.
You're reborn. You're reformed. You've had a very, very interesting career thus far. I mean, you built so many rapport with different producers and UK artists as well. And you've always been known as Mz Bratt. Everyone has known you as that name, and you've built your career on that name.
Yeah.
But then you went away. You went away for quite a few years, and now you come back. Like, tell us about the gap and what happened from the gap till now.
So I was Mz Bratt, and I was putting out loads of music and stuff, and then I just became drained. I didn't know who I was. I guess it was kind of a crossroad between not being immature, but being young, and then kind of crossing over and becoming a bit more mature and a young lady. And it was just a confusing time for me. Kind of lost my feet a bit and didn't know who I was musically. And so I went away for 3 years. It wasn't like I went away, I fell off. I fell flat on my face.
That's what a lot of people might have thought, that you might have fell off, but it's not exactly the case though, is it?
Well, no, because it's just life. Sometimes life hits you and you go through your journey, your personal journey, and I've come out the other side. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I was literally just finding myself again, and I grew out of Mz Bratt during that process of finding myself, and
Okay, well, you were known for like hit singles like Selector, Get Dark. And the first time I actually discovered you, that I known about, who is this gorgeous specimen I'm seeing in front of me, was I Like You.
Yeah.
Long time, like way back. He's from the block, still lives in the same flat. He never even noticed me, but I dreamt of him when I used to go sleep at my window day in, day out. I used to watch him play out.
And if we really, really want to go back, the first interview I ever saw of yours was when you went on Word on Road in 2009.
Do I remember that?
You had straight hair then.
What?
Yeah, it's still online,
Really?
It's still online, it's still there.
Like,
Talking at least now like 6 years.
6 years ago.
Since that time, yeah, it's still there. Like a lot of stuff like earlier past is still there. That's how I got to know you in the first place, and I was like, okay, like this girl's alright still.
It's weird when you think about that though. Like it's been years, but it doesn't feel like it's been as long as it's been.
Yeah. So the type of tracks that you've done, to me, displayed what Mz Bratt was all about. During that time frame, from when you first started up until the point you had that gap, were you fully happy with the route you was going in as being Mz Bratt?
For the majority of Mz Bratt, I was extremely happy. I just enjoyed making music. As a young person, when I found my love for actually making music, it was a hobby. I was just enjoying it, and then it became a career, and then there became pressures from when I got signed. It all became very like a weight on my shoulder. You've got to deliver. You've got to deliver. Whereas before it was just free. Like, oh, let's just turn up to Westwood and just freestyle.
Spit your bars, spit fire.
Yeah, there was no pressure. So yeah, it gradually kind of, it didn't go downhill, but there was a lot more at stake as the years went by. The more exposed I became and the more music I put out, it's like the more people could see the flaws. I didn't think there were any flaws. I don't think there's anything wrong with making different genres of music.
That's what makes you become versatile as a like, you know, any journey with an artist. It's always good to, you know, experiment and figure out who you are.
It's just really frustrating for me because, you know, Rihanna can do it. People say, but she's Rihanna, but she started off somewhere. And it's like, that became a problem to people. We don't know who Mz Bratt is. She's making drum and bass, then she's making hip hop, then she's making a grime track. Like, who is she? And it was like, but my upbringing was so different. It was just a reflection of me. I was just making music that was a reflection of me, and the more music I put out, the more exposed it became. People didn't really know who I was.
Okay, so you just mentioned about like the type of person you are goes against the type of music you were making. So who is Cleo?
I mean, to be fair, that music was always me, but it was always driven by other people. I was just able to come to the table and deliver. Like, I was able to just, you know, if someone said, oh, you should jump on a tune like this, it would be sick. I was always able to jump on that tune and mold to it or whatever. So yeah, it was always me, but it's like I never got to tell my story. It was always like, yeah, jump on the stage, boom, boom. Like, it was never like what I'm going through behind closed doors or what's actually happening in my life or talking about things that other people might relate to. It was always like high energy, fun tracks, punchlines. Yeah, and I got to a stage where I was frustrated. I had a story to tell. And so with Cleo and this new EP, it's kind of like I was just free to be me.
It sounds like you had a weight lifted off your shoulders when you've worked on this EP. It just seemed like that we're now seeing who you really are as an artist. Being brutally honest, you know, as I say, I like my singles. I like hard hits. I like stuff that will get me like bouncing and bumping. Now, you said in one of your tracks, I think it was like the outro to the track, you said like, you know what, I don't give a fuck if no one likes what I'm doing, if they don't like the music I'm producing now, it makes me feel good. Were you ever fearful about being criticised for this EP, knowing it's a completely different direction from what you were in Mz Bratt?
100%. Like, so in the process of making this EP, I went through journeys of being fearful that people weren't gonna like it, being fearful that people wouldn't relate to it or identify with me. And then it got to a stage where it was like, I can be fearful, just go for it, like, have the fear and do it anyway, kind of thing. And so I just went for it, and the reaction was amazing. But my thought process, I know I'm beyond the music I'm making right now in terms of, okay, so I made a very ambient EP, and originally I wanted to put it out in the autumn, just gone, but loads of dramas and politics, it came out in March. And originally in March, these times I wanted to put out the next EP, the next energy, so everyone can see the growth. So yeah, because I feel like the ambient vibe, it's all to do with people's emotions. I feel like, okay, so Jay-Z says that music isn't seasonal or whatever he says. I can't remember what he says. But I don't know, like, when I listen to, for example, Drake in the autumn, I really feel that. And then when I listen to that same album in the summer,
it doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't feel the same, but it takes you back to when you were first listening to it in the autumn and what was going on that time. And I just felt like people would relate to it more then in the autumn than they would in the summer, because the vibe, it's not high energy. People feel good in the summer, and in the autumn they're hibernating and just chilling out.
When I noticed, because you know, on Twitter, you get a lot of people that say they manage artists and they manage their social media, they manage everything they do, so it doesn't seem very personal. And obviously coming back with this EP, what I've noticed recently is that you're becoming even more interactive with your fans, even more so than you ever done. Like, you've got over 50,000 followers on Twitter, but what were you thinking in terms of, okay, I want to bring out this EP, and you said something about, like, if you do a certain amount of retweets, I'll put the track listing up. And then it turned out that it was a much more than what you expected. And then you seem to think, okay, now I know who's really supporting me. Was that ever an idea in your mind? You just thought, let me try it out just to see who really is supporting my shit?
Yeah, I mean, so I had made the music, and then when I'm making music, I can't think about, okay, strategies, what's the plan of action, like, whilst I'm making the music. I'm very like, let me make this project and then figure out the best way to put it out and stuff. And so I know that I'm conscious and aware that I've got 50,000 followers, but I'm realistic. And I know I've been away for 3 years, and I know that they're not engaged with me. But I needed to make it exciting. I needed to make it exciting for them, but give me an insight to what's happening with my fan base or my supporters. So I did that tweet, and I was shocked. I won't lie, I was shocked. And even with the EP plays, like, the night I put it out, I thought I would just get 100 plays.
At minimum?
At maximum.
At maximum?
I'd been away. Maybe that's low expectations for myself, I don't know, but it was like my first time using SoundCloud. It was like, I didn't have many followers on SoundCloud either, and I was just content. I was content with having 100 plays. And it turns out we've got nearly 25,000 in less than a month. So it's like,
have you it is insane, like, you know, where you've come back, and obviously, you know, the expectation of where you were before, obviously there's going to be loads of high numbers, high figures from what you were, and obviously coming back now, it's like, you, as you said, you're very content in just the amount that you have had, knowing you come out the scene for so long. One thing I wanted to ask though, have you ever considered spoken word as an outlet, knowing that this EP almost brings me there in that sense? I've never
thought of that. I've never, like, when I was younger, I wrote poems and stuff, but I've never thought of doing spoken word.
It might work in your favour, because, you know, as I say, the EP does sound, as you say, we've got that ambience flow, but at the same time, what I'm thinking at this stage is, where you've done your EP now and people are receptive to it, what would be the next stage in what music we can expect next? Because obviously you've got the ambience feel, but is that where you're going as an artist now, or are you trying to come back with the versatility where you had before, you know, working with, you know, Fugitive, the Wileys, the Dot Rottens and stuff like that? Are we going to see that sort of area back, or are we going to look into, you know what, I'm developing into something extremely new?
It's a mixture of both. This EP for me was like a great crossover from Mz Bratt to Cleo. It didn't have the Mz Bratt energy, but the rapping and the honesty, and yeah, this project was, for me, it was just a good crossover. And obviously I'm going to grow from that. The next stage, it's going to have more energy to the music, but I'm exploring a new sound, I would say. But then some of the music I'm putting out is Mz Bratt energy.
Because
as well.
you actually have got a track with Mz.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yo, we break up to make up, we make up then break up. We're going in circles, but nothing can save us. We're getting so mad, I don't understand what I can't up and leave. Ain't part of the plan, but you ain't never been that kind of man for me.
And it was titled Mz Bratt. It wasn't titled Cleo. So I'm wondering whether you just said that you went going into Cleo, are we still seeing that past Mz Bratt but in a new form, or are we just clearly going to see that after which it's not going to be Mz Bratt in that sense, it's just going to be straight Cleo?
You will see Mz Bratt because I made a conscious decision to do that song with the French singer as Mz Bratt. I could have been Cleo because I did it. I actually did the track when I was Cleo, when I had already made this decision. I'm Cleo, and I told them, no, let's do that as Mz Bratt because that is Mz Bratt. That energy is Mz Bratt. That's not Cleo, but it's like I can just tap into it because the thing is, I am Cleo and I am Mz Bratt.
Yeah,
because I'm me.
So the same person.
Yeah, but I mean. Okay, so I had like a question and answers session at Google the other day and someone said, will you ever do a grime track again and stuff? It's in my blood. I'm going to turn up to a grime rave at some point and spit bars, like, but that will be Mz Bratt spitting bars. Because
my fear was of you, and this is coming as a fan of yours, that you came as Mz Bratt, you come and done Beauty for Ashes EP, you've transformed into someone new based on the gap that you had. And it's now making me wonder if the Cleo that we're seeing is almost in a sense dismissing Mz Bratt altogether, and like we're not going to see like the mixture of what you have done and what you're willing to do.
No, I don't know. I think it's in me. I just think I'm a more mature person, and I am willing to talk about things that I would never talk about as Mz Bratt. I mean, as Mz Bratt, I was very shielded and protected by people around me. Now I'm vulnerable and I'm open and I'm not afraid of that. And I'm not afraid to talk about relationships that I've had or my mum being sad and just things going on in my life that you wouldn't see Mz Bratt talk about. But in terms of like energy and stuff, like that's always going to be there because that's who I am.
Okay. Now, I've asked a few female MCs this before, slightly separate to the topic. I wanted to get your thoughts on whether you feel there's enough female unity in the UK rap scene. Now, in the past, I have seen you work on 2 tracks where all of you ladies are combined together, like Rock the Mic.
Sipping rosé. I've come a long way from the old days. I still get a bit of hate, but it's okay. I go straight, why they go straight? Good and I kill them like OJ when I show rate. Grip on my blood.
And Game Over.
Yeah.
But it seems that those sort of tracks are kind of a dime a dozen. It's literally just a one-off kind of vibes. Now, recently I'm seeing a lot more, like you got Karma Cruz, Paigey Cakey, Miss Banks, Gina J, Shabo, all those type of artists are more combining together. Whereas before, you wouldn't really see much of that. What are your thoughts on female rappers and their unity? Because I'm kind of 50-50 of where that's going at the moment.
It's a tough one to talk about because, as a female rapper, constantly doing tracks as a female rapper, you're trying to get out of that stigma. You want to be classed as a rapper in general. So forever jumping on tracks with females and calling it a female all-stars, it's just like, well, no, like we're girls, but we are rappers, we are artists. So a lot of us are frustrated about that. Also, I haven't been around to know like the mentality of the female rappers right now. Like you're saying, these new female rappers, I haven't been around them, so I don't know like what their energy's like or how they're all interacting with each other. But I just know through my era, my time, it was just very hard coming through, and it's the whole stigma thing of being a female. That's the put off.
You've encountered Paigey Cakey on a few occasions, and like a couple of years ago when she was just starting out, and she was a fan of your work. And I used to one thing I wanted to ask, because I know that the progression of Paigey Cakey when she first started out, and look at where she is now. Are you still in talks? Like obviously you're coming back now, it's early stages, but are you going to think to work together on something in the future?
That would be nice. At the moment though, because I am trying to establish myself as Cleo and me, and I'm still on my journey. I'm not really doing collabs at the moment, but Paigey is definitely someone that I've wanted to work with. We were meant to do a track about 3 years ago. Yeah. Before I stopped. I stopped doing music.
I was waiting for that as well. I was like, this is going to be a fucking banger. Like, what is going on?
I know. It's bad. And I actually had wrote some lyrics, and I had voice noted her the lyrics and stuff, and it just never happened. But I love her energy, and she's
Yeah.
such a genuine person.
I've met her on countless occasions. She is.
She is. So at some point, when I'm in the right mind frame, I'd love to.
So, Paigey, if you're hearing this,
Paigey, my
Paigey,
babes.
holla at Cleo, holla at Mz Bratt. Let's get it popping.